Okay, so today we're gonna take a look at the MKC75. Here's the box. Let's take a look. We have the ribbon cable, we have the gaskets, screws, feet, more screws, and these are the other kind of gaskets. We have the PC plate, foam, RGB PCB, hot swap PCB, and let's see, more screws. This one is for the light badge. This is the light for the logo, and this is for the actual badge cover. Okay. And here we have a lilac. Right, it's actually a little bit more pinkish than what you see. Very pretty. See the weight with the Mykeyclub printing, actually engraving. And then this is the back. Okay, this is a PVD silver weight with the Mykeyclub in cursive. Okay, very pretty. It's also very hefty. I thought it was gonna be lightweight, but actually pretty hefty. And for the switch, I'm gonna use this Gazzew Plum U4Tx with 63.5 gram spring. So it's actually pretty special. I've never tried it before, but this is what it looks like. Okay, it's a plum color. What it has is it's a thocky switch, but it only has sound when you press down. But then when you leave it, the rebound, you don't hear it bounce back, right? So hopefully it will give a deep sound with a cleaner sound without having the rebound sound. Right. And then for the keycaps, I have the Cerakey. This is the original first generation, which is 100% ceramic material. See, even the stems, they're all like unibody, like one piece. The second generation, I think they changed the stem holder area to plastic for better fitment, but hopefully these will sound pretty good. So I have some special like pink keys, and then the main keys are gonna be hopefully a matching color. So it's gonna be also kind of lavender, lilac-ish. Take a look. Alright, here's a closer look at the PCB. For the stabilizer, I'm gonna use the Akko one. This one. They're actually pretty good, except you have to kind of straighten some of the wires. But the housing, they're actually pretty tight and nice fitting together. Okay. This is what it looks like, the packaging. Foam, and then the stabilizers. Oh, I also recently bought the Geon twister. This is used to help straighten up the stabilizer wires, and then a plate fork. Let's just open it and take a look. You probably don't need the fork today, or it wouldn't be applicable because we'll be using the foam for this build, because I'm trying to get a more deeper sound for this one. These are actually really high quality. You can feel it's pretty heavy. I don't know what it's made of, maybe aluminum. But yeah, see, it even has a logo on it. They're individually packed. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Plate fork, it looks like a 3D printed plastic. Let's see, it's kind of sky blue. I thought it was gonna be white, but I actually like the sky blue better. Okay. So first we're gonna have to start balance the wire and then lube that. Because that's the first part. Actually, before that, we should have tested the PCB to make sure that all the connections are working, but I'm lazy, and Mykeyclub, their products are so far has been pretty good in quality. I never had issue before with the Gazzew 65 and 75, so I'm just gonna do it. Alright, now the wires are balanced. I am ready to lube the housing. So these are really incredible. I don't use brushes anymore. There's a pretty famous guy, Black Simon. He taught us to use this. It's one of those makeup like swab material. So you can see on the tip, like, these are disposable. It just holds a tiny amount of the lube at once, so you don't have to deal with the brush bending or like the brush going sideways, splitting. So it keeps everything clean. And for lubes, I usually keep these three. This is the Tribosis 3203, and this one is usually used for tactile switch, so it's a little bit thinner than the 205. So it's supposed to be better to maintain the ductility. 205G0, GLP 205G0 Krytox. These are for the housing or for usually used for linear switches. So I'm gonna use this for the housing. And then for the wire, you can usually, if you don't have other type, you can also use the 205G0 for the wire as well. But I have the BDZ, so this one is thicker and it's supposed to be better for the wire, between the wire and the housing. Okay, so if you don't have this one, it's okay, just use the 205G. You just need a tiny amount, just enough to cover the wire and the bent section. Yeah. just a very thin cover, thin layer, because this is thick, and if you put too much, it's gonna cause those long keys to kind of lag. It might take a longer time to rise back, rebound once you let go. So that's why you want lube to be there, but you don't want too much of it. Okay. And then that's it. So we just need to repeat for the rest. Okay, so they're all lubed and assembled together. So now we just have to test out these stabilizer with the keycap that we intend to use, which will be the Cerakey here. And just to make sure they're okay before we start to assemble every single switch and then have to take it apart afterwards. And the foam pack, we have this feels like a EVA. It's a case foam. They put it at the bottom of the case. We have plate foam. This is the one that goes between the plate and the PCB. This one goes below. All right. This is this one doesn't feel, I'm not sure if this one is, it's either EVA or it's the, I forgot the name of that foam that gives you the deep sound. Anyway, so it gives you a thin layer between the switch and the actual PCB itself, which gives it a different sound profile than directly sitting on the PCB, which is the FR4 material. Right? So usually this is added to kind of dampen the sound or give it a deeper sound. And today the switch that we're using, I'm not lubing it because I want to test out what it sounds like without any lube. And then also it's not, I think Gazzew doesn't recommend lubing that switch anyway. And so the thin layer and then this one. And then we're gonna put the stabilizers on top. On the shift and the backspace, another shift, and then and the space bar. Okay. And if you notice, they actually did a pretty good job. This film, they actually even have the cutout for all the LEDs, which is interesting. That probably took a lot of work on the machine anyway. So I'm gonna put on the stabilizer pad. If you don't have these, you would use the bandage, the cloth type bandage, just so when the stabilizers bounce back, it doesn't hit the PCB. Okay, I think I got too carried away. I forgot this is 75%, so there's actually only 1, 2, the backspace, the left shift, and the space bar that needs a stabilizer. This shift here is actually a small shift, so it doesn't need one. Okay. And so when you look at the stab, this clip area, it's larger, so it will go into the bigger hole. Okay, the clip area, go into the larger hole. Just push, push, and then clip. Clip. That's it. So sorry, my bad. So yeah, sorry. Actually, it's right. So you need 1, 2, 3 of the 2U, and then 1 of the space. So the other one is the enter. So backspace, enter, and the left shift. Hey, sorry to go longer on this video. I thought this is a kind of lower priced board, so in case someone is new to the hobby, maybe they can look at a few more techniques or things to watch for, and hopefully it helps. If you are experienced, then you can just jump. So once that's assembled, then we'll put on this one. This is called the plate foam. So we'll have to trim off these so it can open up. So this is it after trimming. Oh, and in case you're wondering, this is a huge bag only because there are 500 switches inside. When you do the install, check the pins, make sure they're not bent like this. You have to straighten it up before you push it in, otherwise you're gonna create an even worse bend. So when I screw the stabilizers, I try to not screw all the way down at first, because every keycap, there might be slight width difference. So sometimes I leave it a little bit loose for the keycap to fit first. Try it, make sure it's moving smoothly, and then just tighten it up later on, okay? Okay, they all are okay now. Also, I like to start from the bottom row because some of the keyboards, they have like weird or different layout than the standard 6.25 spacebar, which will affect the other key sizes. So if you start from the bottom, you will know right away if you have any issue with your keycap set that wouldn't fit, then you don't have to remove everything after having worked from the top down. Good. So once you're sure the bottom row matches, like fits, then you can finish installing all the switches and then all the keycaps. For the cap lock, everything, all the switches are south-facing LED, but for the caps lock, if you have the step cap, then you do the south-facing as well. But if you have the regular one, then you want to make it the slot, LED slot north-facing, and then put it on the hole that is closer to the right-hand side. Because see, they made two holes so that it will accommodate either the step or the regular cap lock key. You can leave this out if you're using a logo. Okay, so all the switch and keycaps are assembled. Time to open the case. So it looks pretty clean. I don't see any defects. Yeah, and you see the color match. Really nice. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 screws. Let's put on the bump on feet. I'm surprised even the interior looks really clean. Here's a closer look at the weight. They're really flush together. If you have the wireless version, the battery should be underneath the weight here. Now we're gonna assemble the LED logo. So this is the cover, goes on the very first layer, then you have the LED, then there's the ribbon cable connector, here's the ribbon cable, so I'm gonna put this over the top. This is where it goes here. There is also another package. So this is a little foam that will go between the logo piece badge and the LED. That way it kind of protect the LED plate. And then here are all the little screws to secure the logo as well as the LED piece. So 2 screws for the badge and then 4 screws for the LED unit module. And then the white area, there's gonna be a slot. You just put the ribbon cable inside. One end there, and then the other end will go into the PCB. Also, after you push in the cable, make sure to push the black plastic inwards. That way it will lock the ribbon cable into the slot. Okay, so actually, if you lift up the black plastic piece, lift it so it's perpendicular, then you can push the cable in, and then once it's inside, then you can lower the black one so it's parallel. Okay, and then that way it locks the cable in. Okay, so now we're gonna look at the different gaskets. These round drum looking ones, these would go on the PCB, on the little black PCB holes. And these are to help it secure on the bottom case, that way it doesn't shift up, down, or sideways. And then these are what they call the socks, and you can put these around these areas. So you can choose either one. I'm gonna put the bottom one and try this one. I mean, try this one by itself first. So there's no like side difference. They are both the same shape. So just push, and then you just do it for all the little holes around. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, so 8, 10 total. 10. Also, if you pay attention, it looks like there are like some holes on here. I believe you can use other screws to make like a top mount. At least that's what it looks like. I'm not gonna do that because I want to do the gaskets for this one. Just for the sake of sound, I'm gonna put the socks anyway. Seems like this will help with if it happens to knock into the top upper case, at least you have some cushioning to minimize any noise. You basically just insert them, one on each side of these tabs. Okay, so now comes the hardest part of the build, is trying to pass this ribbon cable through the PCB. There's a little hole here, pass, and then it has to connect to this little slot here. So if you put in your foam properly, you should see this little hole here. Right, that's where you pass the cable through. Okay, so this is after it's passed through, and then I also push down the black piece, so now it's flush, and then that means the cable is locked. And you see these little socks, it will fit into the groove on the upper case, and so that will reduce the sound, I mean noise. And we'll take a look at the front. This is what it looks like. Looks really good, better than I expected. So now the last thing is just to put everything together. Yeah, don't forget to connect this. This is the cable from the daughter board. The USB power goes in, and then you need to connect it to the keyboard. That way it works. So I laid the upper case like very close, that way, because the cable is pretty short. That way you can easily push it in together. Okay, once both the cables are connected, cover it up, and then we just have to put back all the 8 screws back to get it all together. Okay, so now it's all assembled. Let's take a look. So this is the deep sound that I was looking for. Alright, I'm gonna do a type test. Okay, let's start over. Earlier the spacebar sounded weird because there was a little, one of the silicone socks fell off and it was under the spacebar. Alright, so let's try a little typing test. Okay, just realized my iPad is out of power, so while I wait for it to charge, actually I'm very surprised at the build quality of this keyboard. I thought it was gonna be a budget board that feels budget, but I mean, even though it's cheaper than like a Keychron, I mean, this is really good. It has the weight inside, internal and external weight, and I don't know. I have more expensive boards like the Heaven TKL that I haven't built, the Geon 722. I mean, those are gonna have even heavier weight, thicker aluminum material. But I mean, come on, like at this price, if unless you're a hardcore like keyboard like crazy person, this is like about as much as you would need. At most, I would probably go up to JRIS or maybe the QK series, because JRIS and QK, they are both like really nice for their price, and this one just kind of make mechanical keyboards that are like quality more accessible to everyone. Like, listen to this. Like, I mean, if you spend less on the keyboard kit itself, then you can spend more on the switch and on the keycap that you actually touch, right? I mean, of course, if your budget is unlimited, then yeah, by all means get whatever most expensive thing you can get. But like, I would highly recommend this one. I just feel bad I didn't make this board and the video earlier. I'm not getting paid for this, but like, I mean, whoever joined the group buy, like, congrats. Like, you won't be disappointed for sure. Otherwise, I mean, look for maybe extras that you can buy once the shipment finish, or just for future keyboards that are coming from this company. All right, my iPad is ready, I think. Okay, so the keycap, the material is nice, but if you see, the R is a little bit twisted. The the cap lock as well. I don't know, like some of the keys are just kind of like they're not straight. But it does sound nice and it feels nice. I wouldn't want to pay 150 bucks for this. Like probably just like my go-to are like PBD keycaps. I usually spend about 30 bucks, like 20 to 30 bucks for a good set. You can spend more, maybe 80 bucks, but like 150 bucks, I don't know. The switch itself, it's really nice. It's pretty deep. If you like deep sound, that Gazzew like U4Tx, it's really nice and it's really clean. Only the sound that goes down without the sound coming back on rebounding. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys like the video. I'm not getting paid for this again, but hopefully it helps you learn a little bit about mechanical keyboard and how to build one. Right? Good luck.